NCIS has been a beloved show since it first aired in 2003, and the personal stories of its cast members are just as captivating as the episodes themselves. Over the years, these actors have faced unexpected challenges and life-changing events that have shaped their paths in ways no one could have predicted. Now, as we step into 2025, curiosity about where these iconic stars are today grows stronger. From personal struggles to inspiring comebacks, join us as we dive into the lives of the actors who brought NCIS to life, revealing the highs and lows that have shaped their journeys off-screen. Get ready for some surprising twists that are just as dramatic as the show. Shawn Murray as Timothy McGee. At the age of 26, Shawn Murray took on the role of Timothy McGee, the quiet yet highly intelligent cyber agent in NCIS. His calm demeanor and quiet strength made McGee one of the most relatable and beloved characters on the show. Despite finding career stability through NCIS, Murray's life off-screen has been filled with struggles. His marriage to Kerry James in 2005 seemed promising, but it was strained by long periods of separation and unspoken resentments, eventually leading to a quiet divorce in 2020. Murray also faced health issues, battling with his weight and struggling with his self-image, which led to bouts of depression. His difficult relationship with his father, a retired naval officer, haunted him throughout his life. Despite his fame and success on NCIS, Murray often felt overshadowed by the success of his stepfather, Donald Bellisario. He also fought a silent battle with addiction early in his career. Now, at 47, Murray lives alone in California, often retreating from the public eye. He spends his time writing scripts, though his work remains largely unproduced. With an estimated net worth of $8 million, Murray shuns luxury, preferring solitude to fame. David McCallum as Dr. Donald Ducky Mallard. At 70 years old, David McCallum brought the character of Dr. Donald Ducky Mallard to life in NCIS, a charming yet eccentric medical examiner who often captivated viewers with his lengthy, heartfelt stories and deep empathy. However, McCallum's life off-screen was marked by profound heartbreak and unresolved grief. His first marriage to actress Jill Ireland ended in deep betrayal when she left him for Charles Bronson. Later, he married Catherine Carpenter, with whom he had a quiet but emotionally distant relationship. McCallum had 5 children, but the loss of one son, Jason, to a drug overdose haunted him for the rest of his life. He also suffered the loss of his brother at an early age and saw several close friendships fall apart. Despite the joy he brought to his audience, McCallum often retreated into the solace of music and solitude. McCallum spent his final years in seclusion in New York, passing away on September 25, 2023, at the age of 90 from natural causes. Although he was fondly remembered by many, he left this world with a sense of unfulfillment, clinging to letters and mementos of a fractured past. His estate was valued at $10 million, most of which was left to charities supporting veterans and the arts. Lauren Holly as Jenny Shepard. At 42 years old, Lauren Holly took on the powerful role of Jenny Shepard, a strong and emotionally reserved director in NCIS, a woman who led a male-dominated agency with grace and authority. While her on-screen persona was assertive and commanding, her off-screen life reflected a much more complicated reality. Holly's personal life mirrored the complexities of her character. She was married 3 times, with her most public relationship being to Jim Carrey, which ended in tears. Her second and third marriages crumbled under the weight of emotional exhaustion and unresolved trauma. She raised 3 adopted sons, Henry, George, and Alexander, largely on her own. Behind her composed demeanor, Holly struggled with depression, especially after suffering a miscarriage in her late 30s and the sudden loss of her younger brother. After leaving NCIS, Holly's career never regained the momentum it had during her time on the show. Roles that once seemed promising failed to reignite her former fame, and rejection from the industry led her to retreat from public life. She spent some time in Canada teaching acting workshops as a form of self-imposed exile. Though she occasionally returns to television, she battles loneliness and a deep sense of fading relevance. Now 61, she lives a quieter life, far removed from the Hollywood spotlight. Her net worth is estimated at $14 million, but she admits that emotional fulfillment has remained elusive in her later years. Brian Deetsson as Dr. Jimmy Palmer. At just 27 years old, Brian Deetsson stepped into the role of Dr. Jimmy Palmer, the ever-optimistic and endearingly awkward medical examiner in NCIS. His character's warmth and vulnerability added a touch of light to the show's more somber moments. Yet, off-screen, Deetsson's personal life was not as bright as the character he portrayed. Deetsson's marriage to Kelly Deetsson, which produced 2 children, Chloe and Kyle, was marked by struggle. The weight of his medical issues, including a near-fatal stroke in 2020, put significant strain on their relationship. This traumatic event left lasting physical and emotional scars, triggering a quiet depression that Deetsson kept hidden from public view. On top of that, a strained relationship with his parents and siblings further added to his emotional burden. He also dealt with anxiety and a fear of fading into obscurity, feeling as though he was always on the brink of being forgotten. While Deetsson continues to appear on NCIS, his passion for the role has dwindled over time, replaced by a mechanical repetition of duties that has made the role feel like a mask. At 47, he now focuses much of his energy on health advocacy, avoiding the spotlight. With a net worth of $6 million, he is financially secure, but he confesses that emotionally he feels bankrupt. Rocky Carroll as Leon Vance. At the age of 45, Rocky Carroll took on the role of Leon Vance, the steadfast yet emotionally burdened director in NCIS. His portrayal of a man weighed down by both personal loss and the heavy responsibility of leading the team struck a deep chord with fans. Now at 61, Carroll continues to be a stable presence on the show, but his personal life has been far from stable. Carroll's marriage to Gabrielle Bullock, which began in 1996, was marked by numerous separations and attempts at reconciliation. Together, they have one daughter, Alyssa, although Carroll rarely speaks of her in interviews. After NCIS, his ambitions to direct were met with rejection, leading to prolonged periods of self-doubt. Carroll also faced insomnia, depression, and survivor's guilt after the loss of close friends in the entertainment industry. His relationship with his siblings, who accused him of abandoning his roots, became increasingly strained. In recent years, Carroll has withdrawn from the public eye, rarely making appearances at events. Despite this, he has maintained financial stability with an estimated estate value of $3.5 million. Now living in quiet seclusion in a gated home in Los Angeles, he is haunted by what might have been rather than what was. Pauley Perrette as Abby Ciuto. At 56, Pauley Perrette retired from acting in 2020 following a tumultuous exit from NCIS, which was marked by allegations of a toxic work environment. Never married, she endured an abusive engagement to musician Coyote Shivers, which led to years of legal battles and eventually a divorce. Pauley has no children, often expressing her deep sense of grief and isolation in her middle age. Estranged from much of her family, Pauley struggled with chronic mental health issues, including PTSD, anxiety, and bouts of agoraphobia. She retreated from public life, her once vibrant activism fading to rare social media posts. In 2021, she suffered a minor stroke that left her physically weak and emotionally shaken. Once a star known for her vibrant personality, Pauley now lives quietly with her rescue dogs. Her estate is estimated at $5 million, but her home echoes with memories of characters she once brought to life and joys that she was never able to fully embrace. Michael Weatherly as Tony Dinozzo. At 35, Michael Weatherly brought Tony Dinozzo to life with a mix of wit, heart, and undeniable swagger, making him a beloved character on NCIS. Off-screen, however, his life has been far more complicated. Now 56, Weatherly continues to work in the industry but has had to battle against scandals that have tarnished his career. The accusations of sexual harassment by co-star Eliza Dushka led to the loss of several major roles, severely disrupting what had once seemed like an unstoppable upward trajectory. Weatherly married internist Juana Yanovich in 2009, and together they have 2 children, Liam and Olivia. However, their marriage has been strained for years, plagued by public controversies and personal tensions. His first marriage to Amelia Heinle ended in 1997 after the birth of their son, August, and the subsequent custody battles cast a long shadow over his life. Despite his seemingly happy public image, Weatherly has privately struggled with alcoholism and depression, enduring multiple stints in rehab. Estranged from many close friends and family members, Weatherly often spends holidays alone. His estate is currently valued at $6 million, a significant drop from its peak. While he still works, it feels as though every performance is a quiet plea to regain the dignity that he feels he has lost. His life, both on and off screen, continues to be marked by personal battles that go far deeper than the smile he shows to the world. Cot de Pablo as Ziva David. At just 26 years old, Cot de Pablo took on the role of Ziva David, the fierce and emotionally complex Mossad officer, cementing herself as an iconic character in NCIS. Her portrayal resonated with strength and vulnerability, yet off-screen, Cot's life has been defined by a quiet solitude and painful personal struggles. Cot never married, although she was in a long-term relationship with actor Diego Serrano. Their relationship ended in silence and sorrow, and Cot has shared in rare interviews that she feels the absence of family more deeply with every passing year. After leaving NCIS, her career faltered, roles became scarce, offers dried up, and she disappeared from the spotlight, occasionally making cameo appearances. In 2018, Cot lost her father, which triggered a deep depression that worsened after a car accident that left her with lingering physical pain. In 2021, she chose to leave Los Angeles and retreat into privacy. Once surrounded by adoring fans, Cot now spends her time painting and avoiding the public eye. Though financially secure with an estate valued at $4 million, she carries an emotional emptiness, a silence where once thriving dreams now reside. Wilmer Valdorama as Nicholas Torres. At 36, Wilmer Valdorama stepped into the role of Nicholas Torres, a street-smart, impulsive undercover agent with a troubled past in NCIS. His portrayal, filled with intensity and vulnerability, echoed the struggles his character faced. Behind the scenes, Valdorama's life mirrored his character's turbulence. After highly publicized relationships with Demi Lovato and Lindsay Lohan, he married model Amanda Poacheo in 2020. The couple had one daughter, Nano Oceanana, but their marriage quickly fell apart under the strain of infidelity rumors and long separations due to his filming schedule. In 2024, they quietly divorced. Valdorama's post-NCIS career never regained the momentum it once had. After roles dried up and an attempt at directing faltered, he faced depression, substance abuse relapses, and financial struggles following several failed investments, including a now-defunct tequila brand. Despite all this, Valdorama maintains a close relationship with his daughter and lives a quiet life in a modest Santa Monica home. As of 2025, he is 45 years old with an estate estimated at $1.8 million, a sharp drop from his earlier peak. Emily Wickerssham as Eleanor Ellie Bishop. At 29, Emily Wickerssham took on the role of Eleanor Ellie Bishop, the brainy and emotionally complex NSA analyst turned NCIS agent. Her portrayal of a woman struggling to balance her personal demons with her professional life resonated deeply with audiences. Off-screen, however, Wickersham's life was anything but easy. She married musician Blake Anderson in 2015, and together they had two sons, Mason and Levi. However, fame became a double-edged sword for Wickersham. The constant public scrutiny, coupled with a miscarriage in 2018 and her husband's struggles with alcohol, led to a messy divorce in 2022. After leaving NCIS in 2021, Wickersham attempted to relaunch her career in indie film, but the reception was lukewarm. She briefly turned to writing before stepping away from the spotlight. In 2023, Wickersham suffered a mental breakdown and spent time in a wellness facility, further highlighting the strain in her personal life. She has shared custody of her children, but her family life remains fractured, and she rarely appears in public. Now 40, Wickersham lives quietly in upstate New York, with her estate valued at $2.3 million. Much of her wealth comes from her years on NCIS and some successful real estate investments. Diona Reznover as Casey Hines. At 26, Diona Reznover stepped into the role of Casey Hines, a bright, optimistic forensic scientist determined to prove herself in the high-stakes world of NCIS. Off-screen, however, Diona's life was marked by more personal complexity. In 2019, she married her longtime partner, Patricia Hammond, a theater director, but their relationship slowly crumbled. In 2023, they quietly separated due to emotional distance and conflicting career aspirations. Together, they adopted a daughter, Hazel, in 2020, but their co-parenting relationship became strained due to ongoing custody disputes and Diona's struggles with anxiety. After an initial surge of success on NCIS, Diona's opportunities dwindled. Her natural comedic ability struggled to find a place outside of the procedural format. She faced body image issues, battled panic attacks, and was hospitalized in 2022 for exhaustion. Her shift toward activism also resulted in public backlash, leaving her feeling personally burnt out. Now 33, Diona lives alone in a rented apartment in Silver Lake, Los Angeles, far removed from the vibrant persona she once had. Her estate is estimated at $950,000, with her financial future uncertain. Maria Bellow as Jacqueline Jack Sloan. At 50, Maria Bellow took on the role of Jacqueline Jack Sloan, a psychologist whose tough exterior hid a deep, empathetic soul with a tragic past. Her portrayal brought a blend of strength and warmth to the character. Off-screen, however, Bellow's own life mirrored the complexities of her character. Her long-term relationship with producer Claire Munn ended abruptly in 2021, amid rumors of betrayal and public meltdowns. Bellow has one son, Jackson, from a previous relationship, but their bond grew increasingly distant, particularly after a failed business venture they co-invested in that drained much of her savings. After leaving NCIS, Bellow tried to venture into writing and producing, but her projects never took off. Her health also began to decline, with a lupus diagnosis in 2022, leading her to withdraw from public life. Bellow faced years of strained family relationships, unresolved legal battles over a home purchase, and the devastating death of her mother in 2023, pushing her into deeper isolation. Now 58, she lives quietly in Ojai, California, and occasionally teaches acting workshops. Her estate is valued at $3.1 million, a significant decrease from her peak. Katrina Law as Jessica Knight. At 35, Katrina Law took on the role of Jessica Knight, a tough and emotionally guarded NCIS agent who carried the grief of losing her entire REACT team in a bombing. Her portrayal resonated deeply with fans for its delicate balance of toughness and vulnerability. However, off-screen, Law's life was marked by a series of difficult personal struggles. Married to actor Keith Andren, the couple had a daughter named Kinley, but their marriage was strained under the pressure of long separations and conflicting career paths. They quietly separated in 2023. Her professional life post-NCIS didn't fare much better. A planned spin-off was shelved, and the subsequent roles she took on were met with poor critical reception. Law faced 5 major personal tragedies: a miscarriage in 2021, the death of her brother in a car crash in 2022, the end of her marriage, a stalking incident in 2024, and a near-fatal health scare involving an autoimmune disorder. At only 43, Katrina withdrew from Hollywood, choosing a reclusive life in Oregon. Her estate is valued at $800,000, a significant reduction due to legal costs and canceled projects. Gary Cole as Alden Parker. At 60, Gary Cole stepped into the role of Alden Parker, an analytical and introverted team leader in NCIS whose dry wit and sharp intellect added depth to the ensemble cast. Behind the scenes, however, Cole's personal life had been far from smooth. Twice divorced, Cole's first marriage to actress Teddy Sadal, with whom he had a daughter, Mary, who was diagnosed with autism, ended in divorce. He remarried in 2020, but the strain of caregiving duties and an unrelenting filming schedule caused the relationship to break down. By 2023, he found himself alone again. His post-NCIS career faced significant challenges, including a mild stroke in 2024 and the sudden cancellation of a Broadway revival that had garnered high expectations. Cole also faced 5 major personal tragedies: his daughter's deteriorating health, the death of his mother, the collapse of his second marriage, financial losses from a failed film investment, and growing estrangement from his siblings. At 68, Gary Cole lives a quiet retirement in Illinois, rarely appearing in public. His estate is valued at $3 million, modest by Hollywood standards, but a reflection of his 4-decade-long career. Mark Harmon as Leroy Jethro Gibbs. At 49, Mark Harmon stepped into the role of Leroy Jethro Gibbs, bringing a sense of quiet authority and stoicism to the role of the troubled Marine-turned-investigator in NCIS. His portrayal became iconic, marked by silence, loss, and leadership. Yet, behind the character of Gibbs, the actor carried burdens just as heavy. Harmon's marriage to actress Pam Dober, which spanned decades, was fraught with long silences, rumors of infidelity, and emotional distance. Their 2 sons, Shawn and Ty, followed in their father's footsteps, pursuing acting careers, but both struggled under the shadow of his fame. After his departure from NCIS in 2021, Harmon attempted a return to film, but his projects were met with critical and commercial failure. His life has been punctuated by 5 major tragedies: the sudden death of his best friend in 2008, a house fire in 2013, chronic back pain that worsened after a stunt injury, the death of his father in 1990, and an increasingly strained relationship with one of his sons. Now 73, Harmon lives in partial seclusion in Montana, where he seeks peace and solitude. His estate, bolstered by decades of television success, is estimated at $40 million, though much of his wealth is tied to real estate investments. Which NCIS character holds a special place in your heart? How does it feel to know that some of the stars who brought them to life are no longer with us? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you love this type of content, please give this video a like, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a new update. Thank you for your continued support.